We grow up believing that love should feel intense, fast, overwhelming, like fire that burns through everything in its path. From movies, from songs, from stories, we are taught that if it doesn't take our breath away, it isn't love. But intensity is not intimacy. That pounding in your chest, that craving that never quiets down, that deep pull toward someone who barely notices you, that is not love. That is obsession. And obsession is clever. It wears love's mask so convincingly that almost everyone gets fooled. It gives us a rush. It creates a bond. It convinces us that the pain is proof of passion. But obsession is not connection. It is control. It isn't safety. It is fear. And until we see it clearly, we stay trapped in relationships that hurt more than they heal. Obsession does not arrive like love. It doesn't arrive with warmth, or safety, or calm. It arrives like a whisper, quiet, persistent, invasive. Why didn't they text back? Did I say something wrong? Should I check their story again? Are they seeing someone else? At first, it feels harmless. A question, a curiosity, a moment of wonder. But slowly, it grows louder. The questions multiply. The thoughts circle endlessly. You start checking your phone more than you check your own pulse. You replay conversations until the words lose meaning. You assign weight to the tiniest gestures. Every vibration makes your heart jump. Every silence feels like rejection. Your whole sense of worth hangs on whether or not they respond. And this is how obsession works. It teaches you its rules. If they pull away, chase them. If they give crumbs, be grateful. If it hurts, it must be love. And because you crave the high, you obey those rules. Here is what's happening underneath. We confuse the adrenaline of uncertainty with passion. We confuse the chaos of emotional roller coasters with the spark of romance. The push and pull becomes the rhythm of your life. The drama becomes your comfort zone. The pain becomes your proof of love. But here is the truth, whispered softly. The cycle is not love. The cycle is the addiction. The pattern is the prison. And everything rests on a lie. That this is what love is supposed to feel like. You see, the brain doesn't know the difference between obsession and love. Both light up the same circuits. Both release powerful chemicals. Dopamine, the thrill of reward. Oxytocin, the glue of bonding. Cortisol, the sting of stress. Each time a message appears. Each time a like lands on your post. Each time you receive a tiny slice of their attention. Your brain lights up like a slot machine. It doesn't matter that the reward is small. It doesn't matter that it is unpredictable. In fact, the unpredictability makes it stronger. This is the same mechanism casinos use to keep people hooked. You think you're in love with them. But really, you're addicted to the relief you feel when your anxiety finally breaks for a moment. And that relief becomes your drug. We often ask ourselves, why do I feel this way? Why does someone who gives me so little hold such power over me? The answer is hidden in the difference between obsession and true love. Obsession moves quickly. It starts like lightning. It burns fast. It runs hot. It lives in extremes. It swings between heaven and hell. It demands constant validation. It leaves you anxious and exhausted. True love is different. True love builds slowly. It grows over time. It feels safe. It creates stability. It allows you to be vulnerable. Obsession says, if they leave, I am nothing. True love says, even if they leave, I am still whole. But here's the trap. To someone who has lived with drama, true love can feel boring. Because it doesn't trigger your fight or flight. It doesn't make your stomach twist. It doesn't play hide and seek with your worth. True love feels calm, steady, predictable in the best way. And when you're addicted to chaos, calm feels like emptiness. You mistake peace for a lack of passion. So you return to the storm, thinking that the thunder is proof of love. But obsession doesn't appear out of nowhere. It is not random. It has roots. If, as a child, love felt unsafe, if affection was given one day and taken the next, if you were praised only when you performed, then obsession will feel familiar. The mind clings to what it knows. Even if what it knows is pain. Maybe you grew up hearing, "You're too sensitive." But the truth was, you were underloved. Maybe they called you needy. But the truth was, you were neglected. Maybe they said you were dramatic. But the truth was, you were desperate for connection. And now, as an adult, you find yourself trying to get from a partner what you never received from a parent. The pull is not about this person in front of you. It is about the old wound they awaken. That is why obsession feels so consuming. Because you're not just chasing them. You're chasing a piece of your past. You're chasing the love you should have received long ago. And the brain says, if I can make them stay, maybe I will finally heal. But the truth is, no partner can heal a childhood wound. No obsession can replace the love that was missing. Healing begins when you recognize the pattern. When you say, this storm feels familiar. But familiar is not the same as safe. And yet, the world around us makes obsession even harder to escape. We now live in an age where obsession has a playground. And its name is social media. You can watch their every move. Check who they follow. Count who they like. Search every photo for hidden clues. You don't need to be near them. All you need is Wi-Fi. It feels like closeness. But really, it's feeding the fixation. The line between love and obsession used to blur. Now, it is almost invisible. Because our devices keep them alive in our hands. Because the screen becomes the stage for fantasy. Because we don't just fall for people anymore. We fall for curated images of who they are, and who we hope they might be. If this resonates with you, if you feel these words echoing in your heart, consider subscribing. It helps us share more reflections, and it helps this message find the ones who need it most. Why do we stay, even when it hurts? Why do we keep chasing, even when we know it breaks us? Because obsession does not just feed on their actions. It feeds on our beliefs. We stay because of the maybes. Maybe they are just scared. Maybe they need more time. Maybe if I give more, they will finally see my worth. Maybe they just need to heal before they can love me. These maybes are the lies that keep us hooked. They are the threads that bind us to pain. And obsession whispers, hold on a little longer. It will change. They will change. This story will turn into love. But here is the harshest truth, you do not want them. You want the version of them you created in your mind. The version who will one day finally love you the way you always hoped. And that version does not exist. Obsession is not about the person. It is about the fantasy. The story we write. The character we invent. We don't fall in love with who they truly are. We fall in love with the mirror they hold to our longing. We fall in love with the possibility of what this could become. That is why letting go feels impossible. Because we are not grieving them. We are grieving the dream we built around them. Breaking free is not just about losing a partner. It is about losing an identity. An identity built on longing, waiting, chasing. And that is why healing takes courage. Because you are not just ending a relationship. You are stepping out of a story you have repeated for years. So how do we begin? First, you must cut off access. Obsession feeds on every glimpse, every message, every post. Silence starves it. It feels brutal at first. Like tearing away a part of yourself. But over time, silence becomes your friend. Second, you must grieve the illusion. You are not only losing a person. You are losing the fantasy you carried in your heart. Allow yourself to mourn that story. Cry for what you thought it could be. Let the grief run its course. Third, rebuild your sense of self. Obsession erodes identity. It convinces you that without them, you are nothing. But you are not nothing. You are whole. You are healing. And healing is not linear. Some days you will feel strong. Other days you will want to go back. That is normal. That is part of breaking the cycle. Remember, recovery is not about perfection. It is about persistence. Seek support. Therapy. Friends. Communities where you feel seen and valued. You need mirrors that reflect your worth, not your wounds. Slowly, step by step, begin to rewrite your patterns. Learn what true love feels like. Learn to recognize the difference between passion and peace. Learn to trust the steady flame over the wildfire. It will feel unfamiliar at first, even uncomfortable, because your nervous system is used to chaos. But with time, peace becomes your new normal, and the drama you once craved will feel exhausting instead of exciting. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are healing. And every time you choose peace over chaos, you are teaching your heart a new language. When you step away from obsession, the silence feels heavy at first. The absence feels unbearable. Because for so long, chaos was your heartbeat. But slowly, something changes. The silence that once felt like emptiness begins to feel like space. Space to breathe. Space to remember who you are. And in that space, you begin to taste something different. True love. True love does not start with fireworks. It starts with self-respect. It doesn't make you question your worth. It reminds you of it. It doesn't demand that you shrink. It invites you to expand. It doesn't leave you trembling with anxiety. It allows you to rest. True love looks like small, steady things. It looks like someone remembering how you take your coffee. It looks like feeling safe to say no. It looks like laughter that isn't forced. It looks like arguments that end with growth, not destruction. True love is not an endless chase. It is not about winning or losing. It is about being. And here is something many people never realize. True love is not always loud. It is not always dramatic. Sometimes it feels like stillness, like sitting next to someone in silence and feeling completely at ease. That is love. Not the high, not the crash, not the obsession, but the peace. To find this, you must relearn how to listen to yourself. You must rebuild trust with your own heart. Ask yourself, do I feel calm around them? Do I feel safe to be me? Do I feel respected, even when we disagree? If the answer is no, that is not love. Because true love will never require you to abandon yourself. It will never demand you betray your own soul. Healing from obsession is not just about letting go of someone else. It is about reclaiming yourself. It is about standing in the mirror and saying, I am enough. I have always been enough. And I will never again confuse chaos for connection. Maybe you are listening right now with tears in your eyes. Maybe you see your own story in these words. Maybe you feel the ache of recognition. If you do, let this be your sign. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are human. And your heart simply learned the wrong lesson. Now, it is time to teach it something new. So when the urge to check their phone consumes you, pause. When the silence feels unbearable, breathe. When the craving to go back overwhelms you, remember this, you are not missing love. You are missing obsession. And obsession is not what you deserve. Choose peace. Even if it feels strange at first. Choose calm. Even if it feels boring compared to chaos. Choose the steady flame over the fire that burns you down. If this message touched you, if these words echoed your own story, don't forget to subscribe. It helps us continue creating, and it helps this message reach the people who need it most. Love is not pain. Love is not obsession. Love is peace. This was another reflection on love and psychology. Until next time, take care of your heart, and may love guide your path.